some water. This is called Matanya. Matanya, which loosely translated doesn't mean anything, but it's a term probably that... Why is this so tall? It's a term that describes pretty much like all over the place. But that's not what I wanted to talk today about. Most people agree that to be an expert in something, you need to spend about 10 years. 10 years learning, studying the field. And after much consideration, I decided that I'm an expert in Russia. And why I'm mentioning this is because I just read about this recent missile attack on Ukraine. And just for the record, I support Ukraine 100% because that's where I grew up when Ukraine was still part of the Soviet Union. But I am Russian, right? So I'm in an interesting position where I understand both sides, more or less. But when I was leaving Russia in '97, I can tell you that the three facts of life in Russia are bribery or corruption, theft, and incompetence. So corruption, theft, incompetence, not necessarily in that order. And back in the day, you know, when they started allowing big enterprises to get privatized, it was a gold mine for bureaucrats because they just, lots of people became, you know, millionaires overnight when basically, let's say you run a factory, right? And so you call a general meeting with all the workers and you say, hey guys, we have a chance to privatize this factory and then each of us will get shares. And of course, you know, workers say, yeah, why not? And then once the top people divide shares between themselves, what's left goes to the workers, of course. But still, that privatization, it required a lot of paperwork because before all this began, everything was owned by the state, by the government, by the Russian government, right? There was no private property per se, unless you're a farmer or something like that. I'm still trying to figure out how people were allowed to have houses, because I grew up in an apartment building and right across the road there was a bunch of houses. Even back when, you know, private property was kind of like illegal. You cannot own anything, but you can buy a car, you know, but somehow people were buying houses. I don't know how they were doing that, but then eventually they allowed this, right? And so this privatization created lots of rich people overnight. But what bureaucrats, and this goes to the point of corruption, what bureaucrats that were dealing with this paperwork quickly realized is that they can make a lot of money. So they can make it easy for these clients or they make it difficult, right? So if they make it difficult, it can take 6 months, 1 year, 2 years to privatize, let's say, a big factory, right? Whereas, you know, if you grease the wheels a little bit, if you throw some money around, they can privatize it in 2 weeks or 1 week, whatever. And so what's funny is that I remember this, like no BS. A bunch of people set up companies back during that time as, you know, facilitators. So they knew somebody in the government. They knew the proper people to grease, and so they would collect their fee as a broker from the customer. So let's say this factory, some kind of big milk factory or, you know, dairy or meat factory, they go to this facilitator and they say, yeah, we want to privatize this like ASAP, like let's say 2 weeks. We don't want to wait 1 year. So the guy collects, I don't know, $10,000, $20,000, you know, and he gives the part of it to the bureaucrat. The bureaucrat is happy to oblige. 2 weeks, the factory is privatized. The former general manager of the dairy factory is now head of the corporation and a millionaire, right? So everybody's happy. So that's corruption, right? And then of course theft, like, I don't know, all these, like construction sites, like everybody was stealing everything. You cannot just, unless it's padlocked, it was stolen, And then incompetence brings us to the army. To the army, like I spent 18 months in the army, and most of the time what we were doing is we were cleaning, pavement in front of the headquarters, or occasionally we jumped with a parachute. I think we shot guns maybe like 3 times. We had exercises, and we shot guns 3 times, and I jumped with a parachute 13 times, which is actually pretty scary, but then you get to like it. But it was all kind of like a waste of time and waste of government money, because you don't learn much in the Russian army. And so this morning I'm reading about another missile attack by the Russians on Ukraine, and some people said, some stories said 80 missiles, some said 81. So let's go by 81. And then I became curious, since I know about this corruption and incompetence and theft, like how much does it cost to make a typical, Russian, I'm guessing, air to ground or ground to air missile? And the numbers I've seen were somewhere around 180,000 US. So these guys shot 81 missiles. 81 times 185,000. So they spent almost $15 million. They killed 6 people. Like, I feel sorry for the people that lost their lives, but to spend $15 million to kill 6 people, what does that tell you? Like, I guarantee that the Russian army will not be able to keep up at this rate, at this abysmal rate of effectiveness, and that all this stuff is super expensive, right? All these weapons, like tanks, ammo, and even now, right? There are lots of people there. They're complaining that they don't get the ammo they want, like the Russian army. They're gonna go bankrupt. There's no way, with the corruption, theft, and incompetence, that the Russian army is winning this war when they have to spend $15 million on missiles to kill 6 people. That just, but that's the reason I left. The reason I left Russia, honestly, most of all, it was corruption, because everybody was on the take, and part of the one reason for that was, but I don't know, maybe they did it on purpose or what, but most government officials had very low salaries. A guy drives over in a Mercedes or Audi, right? And he wants this bureaucrat to do something for him, and this guy is making like $200 a month, and so of course they started asking for bribes, or trying to create like artificial obstacles. Okay, yeah, we can do this, but it'll take 2 years, unless you want to call this facilitator Misha, who probably might help you for some small fee, So everybody was on the take. Everybody was corrupt. Everybody was stealing, and a lot of officials were incompetent, especially in the army. So, and like I said, I spent my first 5 years in Hungary, where my dad served as a military pilot. So, okay, so that doesn't qualify. But then from 69 until 97, so 29 years, I lived first in Ukraine, part of the Soviet Union, and then in Moscow, Russia. So when I say that these 3 facts, corruption, theft, and incompetence, are facts of life in Russia, you can trust me, because I'm an expert. So anyway, that's thing number 2 I wanted to mention in this video. Thing number 3, about the Ruger. So if you're not interested in firearms, just drop everything and run, okay? If you are interested in some problem solving, because this is not just about firearms, right? So I have a problem, I'm trying to solve it. I did a lot of research online. Why is my gun jamming? That I bought 2 months ago. And so yesterday night I filled out a warranty repair form on this Gravel agency website. I send them my invoice, proof of purchase. I send them pictures of showing the cartridge jamming, right? And I had 3 magazines. I put 2 of them on Gun Post, kind of like online website for selling firearm related things, because you cannot sell them on regular websites like Craigslist or Kijiji. So you have to use this. I don't know if it's American as well, but here it's called Gun Post. Gun Post, you can buy and sell stuff. And so I put these 2 out of 3 5-round mags for my Ruger. I put them for sale. A guy showed up 2 hours later, gave me 80 bucks Canadian. And I said, and he says he has 308. And like, I would feel bad if he would say that he has a rifle and 6.5, because I know they don't work, right? But when this guy said 308, I said, oh man, I'm relieved you said that, because I would feel bad selling you magazines that I know don't work in this stupid 6.5 round. And so then I decided, wait a second, so this 6.5 mag, right? They also make a bigger version of this, and here in Canada, as long as you have a bolt action rifle with this bolt, and the rifle is somewhere close by, but anything with a manual action, right? We're not semi-auto. There's no limit how many rounds you can load, so it's legal. You can have as many rounds as you can find magazines for. So in this case, Magpul makes a 5-round mag, and they make a 10-round mag. Pretty much the same, but on their website they say the 10-round mag, they don't recommend it for my rifle, for American Ruger American Hunter. They say you should use a much more reliable and proven 5-round mag. Yeah, right, so I know this does not work. And so I did order the 10-round mag, which was about like 50 bucks Canadian. So it's coming, so it'll be interesting. So you see now I only have 1. So I'm pretty sure this is the one that came with the rifle. You only get this 5-round mag. And the reason I ordered 10-round mag is because when I looked at pictures of this follower, this plate, the front was different. On the 10-round mag, the front looked to be of different design. And so it's only 50 bucks, so I'm gonna try it. If it jams, I'm gonna send it back, because now I know you have 30 days money back guarantee or return guarantee. That's what now I'm stuck with this rifle, because it's been 2 months since I bought it. But also I keep doing research, and while I'm waiting for the authorization number, basically this warranty center, you cannot just ship the rifle to them. You have to get their approval. So they have to give you this reference number, or they call it authorization number, and you have to put it on the top of the package, and you're responsible for shipping. But I've seen some people reporting that when they had similar issues, the gun eventually goes to the Ruger factory, right? Or maybe they have a repair facility here in Canada. But basically what they can do is they can change the bottom part of the receiver. They can modify the feed ramp, or they can even give you a new barrel, or even like a brand new gun. Or one guy said he had issues with 2 guns. He sent them out. One gun was replaced 100%. They gave him a brand new gun. The other gun, they said they couldn't duplicate the problem. And he said both rifles showed exactly the same problem, but Ruger couldn't find the problem with the second rifle, so they just returned it to him, So lucky for me, I only have 1 rifle. And so now I'm waiting for this authorization number to try to send it for warranty repair in case there's something wrong with the rifle itself, not just the magazine. Maybe like the feed ramp, or maybe the bottom of the receiver there where the magazine goes in. And now I'm getting this 10-round mag, but also I was thinking more and more about this, and I remember that first time when I was shooting the rifle at the gun range, I used expensive ammo, right? I did a video about this cost of ammo in Canada, and I remember I used this particular brand. I bought 2 boxes. One was this Federal Premium gold medal in 130 grain, 6.5, and this is like, you know, the best of the best according to the, you know, all these marketing messages. So 130 grain. So this was 75 bucks last time. Now it was 70. So I just went and I bought a box of 20s, kind of like this, right? And then this one, that's the one that, so, and that's what I shot first time. I shot this Federal Premium, and I shot Hornady White Tail, and I didn't have a single jam, right? And so now I'm shooting this Czech Republic Cellier Beloy tactical ammunition, but it's 140 grain, and it jams each and every time, right? And so so now we're gonna check. We're gonna load the cheap ammo, the Cellier and Beloy. Just confirm once again that it's still jamming. I'm just gonna load 5. So 5 is loaded. Oh, by the way, another video I watched, a gunsmith gave a very nice tip. Like you see here, if you look closely, you see that the distance between these lips, between these plastic lips over here, there's a gap. You see that? Over here it's tight, here it's loose. And of course there's nothing I can do about it because it's plastic. And so this gunsmith was saying, if you're having issues, the first thing you should do, just put your fingers like this and see if there's a pivot, if the bullet pivots. And it doesn't pivot too bad, but it's definitely loose here because of the space. And what he did, he was doing this on a metal mag, like, you know, a real like military grade, and it had the same lips. And what he had a special tool where first he measured this distance here and here because he saw there was a difference. He measured with a special measuring device, and he saw that one side was bigger, just like here. And then he used that special tool which he applied to the lip, and he bent it a little bit. And right after that, when he tried this little trick, the bullet did not flex as much. And he says this will definitely cause jamming if you have a bullet go like this, because of the improper distance here. And I only noticed this after the guy did this video. But so now we have, so this is the cheap ammo. So we're gonna try, hold on one second. So of course first we have to insert the bolt. Okay, so cheap ammo. See this? Of course. And then you see, you start playing with it, and then eventually it goes in. Or maybe it's because I'm holding the gun like this. So like this. You have to hit it a couple of times. And then it goes in. So basically the same issue I had before. And the guns, the safety is on, so everything is cool. So mag is empty. So now let's load the super expensive $3 a round Canadian. Federal Premium, which I was lucky with first time. I'm gonna load 5. Okay. They look identical to that one, but even a slight difference can make or break. You saw that? First round, second round, no jamming, except, oh wait, come on. The bullet went under the second one. Okay, let me try this again, because usually with that ammo, the first round, 10 out of 10 was jamming. This one is not jamming. Unbelievable. So, what did we learn, boys and girls? We learned that in my case, it may not be an issue with the rifle at all. It can be the issue with the Czech Republic product. So now I don't want to mix them. So this is Premium, Federal, this is Czech Republic. They look similar, but what's funny is that look at the bottom. See, the diameter is different. You see this? Like when I hold it like this is bigger than this. So they're slightly different. You know? Oh, and plus, this is 140 grain from Czech Republic, right? And this is 130 grain. And I got 130 grain specifically because this is what I shot first time and I had no issues. And actually this is why it's so expensive, is because that's what considered the most reliable round for shooting competitions. And so yeah. So basically, a note to myself, don't buy any ammo from Europe, you know? Of course, it's expensive, 70 bucks Canadian for 20, but I'd rather do this than, you know, fight the rifle each time. Or basically, of course, with this, what I could have done is just load it around. I'm still gonna use it because I have like 5 or 6 boxes of that stuff, like 20 rounds per, so 100 rounds. But what I can do is I can just load it, you know, manually directly into the chamber. I can just load one here. And then, you know, like put one in the chamber. So one in the chamber, and then load this, and that's it. And I have 2. You know, but that's just ridiculous, right? So this is amazing. So the difference that the ammo makes. Well, let's just do one more experiment. Remember how I was saying how the bullets, they tip down when I was using those cheap ones? Only the last one, the tip would go up. So let's see what happens here. So let's say this is a bolt. Goes like this. It still tips a little bit, but not too bad. It definitely, the front of the bullet definitely sits higher than that one. And that's why, I think that's why, you see, that's why it feeds better. Son of a gun. So probably I should just, I should email the warranty center and tell them, you know, forget it. I just realized that this is the issue with cheap ammo. And so the 6.5 caliber really doesn't like cheap ammo. All right, that's it. That's all my messages for today. Thank you for watching. Enjoy your coming weekend.